Welcome to your overview on verbs. So to get a definition, a verb is a word or a group of words that expresses time or tense while showing an action, a condition, a state of being, or a state of existence. And when we say a word or a group of words, what we mean is the standalone word is a verb and the group of words is known as a verb phrase. Every sentence needs to have at least one verb in the English language. We build our sentences around our verbs. And a verb can consist of 1 to 4 words. Remember, more than one word is what we consider a verb phrase. For instance, something like I am eating. Our verb phrase is am eating. Or the cat will be hiding in the hall closet. The person or thing that performs the action in a sentence is called the subject of the verb. So in the sentence, the cat ate the bird, our verb is ate, and our subject is cat. The subject in English will always be a noun or a pronoun. So an action verb is a word or group of words that expresses time or tense while showing an action. So in the sentence, I answered the phone, the action is what I am doing, which in this sentence is answered. That's my action. And the tense, when I am doing it, well, we've got that ed ending. We know it's past tense. I answered the phone. I did it before now. But if we change it to I am answering the phone, it's still the same action, but the verb tense has changed now. I am answering the phone. When am I doing it? I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it in the present tense. And then the same thing, I will answer the phone. What am I doing? Well, I'm answering. The action is still the same, but when it is happening, the tense, the time, has changed. And in this sentence, I will answer the phone. Now we're working with future tense. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to. So remember, action verbs express action, and they are used to tell what someone or something does, did, is doing, or will do. So a few just example sentences with verbs. Tara is learning about the Great Depression. She's doing it right now. The television blared the broadcast of the new show, and we chose 2 artists from Texas. Is learning, blared, and chose are all action verbs. Now remember, the action expressed by a verb doesn't have to be visible. Words that express mental activities are still considered action verbs. Things like learn, think, decide, remember. Even if you can't see someone performing the action, that doesn't make it any less of an action verb. Now, a verb that has more than one word is what we call a verb phrase. And a verb phrase consists of the main verb and one or more helping verbs. And helping verbs are also called auxiliary verbs. You may hear them referred to by either name. I usually call them helping verbs, but some teachers will call them auxiliary verbs. So just keep in mind that that is another name for them. And your main verb, when you're working with action verb phrases, will be the action of that verb phrase. So for example, I will be taking a tour of the city. Our action is taking. That's our main verb. And will be are the helping verbs that help give us more information about the tense, the timing of this action. I will be taking, meaning I haven't done it yet. I'm going to do it in the future. We have been swimming all day. Our main verb is swimming. That's the action in the verb phrase. And have been are 2 helping verbs that give us tone and tense. Same thing here. I should have been reading of Mice and Men. Reading is our main verb. It's our action. Should have been are the 3 helping verbs in this verb phrase. And then finally, we are being silly in class. Now, the nice thing about helping verbs in the English language is that there is a set list of them. These are all of them. So the main verb is your action verb. The helping verbs will give tense and tone to the sentence. So the helping verbs that we have in the English language is, am, are, was, were, be, being, been, do, does, did, have, has, had, shall, should, will, would, can, could, may, might, and must. That's the list of them. If you see an action verb and it's got these other words around it, you know that you're working with a verb phrase that has helping verbs. Now, action verbs can fall into one of two categories. They can either be transitive verbs or intransitive verbs. And it all depends on whether or not they transfer action to another word in the sentence. So let's take a look at what that actually means. So if a transitive verb directs action towards someone or something named in the same sentence, you can determine if a verb is transitive by asking whom or what after the verb. So for example, in the sentence, Kara read the book. Our verb is read. That's the action of our sentence. Kara is our subject. She is the performer of the action. She is the one doing the reading. But there's another noun in that sentence, right? We've got this noun book thrown on at the end of it. So if we ask ourselves, Kara read what? Well, she read the book. And the noun that receives that action of the verb is known as a direct object. So Kara is performing the action, read, and the book is receiving that action. The action of reading is being transferred from Kara performing it to the book receiving it. But again, you've got that quick little test to do of verb what or verb whom. So Kara read what? Kara read the book. So a few other sentences to look at. We ate the veggie burger. Our verb is ate. Our subject is we. And then we ask ourselves, well, we ate what? What is receiving the action of us eating? That would be the veggie burger. So the direct object of the verb ate is veggie burger. My sister answered the phone when I called. Our verb is answered. My sister is the subject. She is performing that action. And then we ask ourselves, well, my sister answered what? She answered the phone. Phone is receiving that action that my sister is performing. So the direct object of that verb is phone. So let's take a look at a couple more sentences. The students will eat their lunch in my classroom. So in this case, we have a verb phrase. Eat is our main action verb. Will is from our helping verb list. Will eat is our verb phrase. Remember, it's giving us that future tense. They haven't done it yet. The performer of the action, who is going to eat, is students. That's our subject. And then we look at, okay, well, students are eating. They will eat. What is going to receive the action of the students eating? Students will eat what? They will eat lunch, making lunch our direct object in this sentence. Same thing here. Mr. Gellert should have been learning verbs. He really should be. So again, we've got a verb phrase. Learning is our main verb. That's our action. Should have been are the helping verbs. So our verb phrase, should have been learning. Well, who should have been learning? What's our subject? That's Mr. Gellert. He's performing the action. And then what is going to receive that action of learning? Should have been learning what? Should have been learning verbs, making verbs the direct object in this sentence. Now, the other type of action verb is an intransitive verb. And an intransitive verb does not direct action towards someone or something named in the same sentence. It is a verb that stands alone. But be careful. Direct objects answer verb what or verb whom. They do not answer when, where, or how. Those are your adverbs. So in the sentence, the students wrote quickly. Our verb is wrote. The performer of that action, the subject, is students. They are the ones writing. And if we ask ourselves, well, the students wrote what? Or the students wrote whom? We cannot answer that question. We can only answer how they wrote, which was quickly. But remember, direct objects will only answer verb what or verb whom. A direct object will always be a noun or a pronoun, not an adjective and not an adverb. So the action in this sentence, the students wrote quickly, it's not being transferred to anything else. It stands alone. We ate at the new restaurant. Our verb is ate. Our subject is we. We can answer where we ate, but remember, that's not a direct object question. So the action of eating is not being transferred to anything else in the sentence. We're not eating the restaurant. That would be very uncomfortable and very strange, and I don't know how you would even do that. But it's answering where we ate at the new restaurant. Not the same thing. So the verb ate is standing alone. It is an intransitive action verb. Same thing here. I answered tersely. Our verb is answered. Can we say answered what? No, we cannot. We can answer how, but not what. The action is not being transferred to anything else in the sentence. So let's take a look at this sentence. The cats sleep all day long on my bed. True story. They are very lazy. Our verb is sleep. The subject is cats. They are the performer of the action verb. But we can't answer sleep what? We can answer sleep when, that's all day, and we can answer sleep where, that's on my bed. But the action of sleeping, as the cats perform it, it's not being transferred to anything else. We cannot answer sleep what or sleep whom. Now let's look at these two sentences where it's the same verb, it's the same subject, but there's a difference in what comes after the verb. So we're revisiting that sentence we looked at. The students wrote quickly. Our verb is wrote, our subject is students, and we can only answer the question, the students wrote how. They wrote quickly. But in the other example, the students wrote essays. Our verb is still wrote, our subject is still students, but now the action of writing is being transferred to something else in the sentence. Something is receiving that action. We can answer the question, students wrote what? Because they wrote essays. So the first sentence, the students wrote quickly, that's an intransitive action verb. In the second sentence, wrote is now transitive because it has that direct object. That action is being transferred to the essays in the sentence.